Hey there, I'm author Shannon Reber, and this is narrator Brandy Balefire. And today
Yes.
we're talking about my brand new book.
Yay! And I brought my green pen, favorite color.
You,
It writes surprisingly well for a
it,
gel pen.
that's just
So,
lovely.
yes. Love a good pen.
Uh, that's a perfect way to start any interview is with a
Yes,
green pen. Yes.
it it is. And it must be the teacher in me, but I love a good pen. Okay. Let's talk about
I think it
mine,
is.
okay? You
Okay.
just published
I just
mine.
published.
It's
I
a
did.
story that you've been working on for, oh my gosh, like a year? Maybe? Something
I
like
wrote
that
the
off and on?
majority of it like 20 years ago, and then I pulled it out
Mm,
maybe a year and a half, and
okay.
I went, I mean, it's a decent story. It's just really badly written. This is the way I've started working. I take
Right.
old things that are badly written and I turn them into something new and awesome.
Yeah, I really enjoyed mine for sure.
Yay! I'm so
And
happy.
okay, so let's just start at the beginning.
Okay.
What is it about?
Okay, we've got a woman who you the story starts out with she's at the theater. She is an actress, Broadway type actress, and she's going through her day, but there's something like dark in the back of her mind. And then you find out throughout the story about a very serious tragedy that happened to her less than 2 years before. And no, 2 years. Yeah, 2 years before.
Mhm.
And, so you find this out, because the guy who actually shot her in the stomach, killing her, unborn child,
Mhm.
and shooting, her four-year-old, you
Mhm.
find out that this guy escaped from prison. And so there's this happens all in the very first thing that you
Right. It's
see
like the
going on.
first scene.
The first Yeah, exactly. I
Just
think it's
about.
in like
Very
chapter
close.
3, but they're super short
I got
chapters
you.
and
Right.
yes. But what I decided to do is have the villain's point of view in second person. I've
Mhm.
never
Mhm.
written anything in second person before. It
Right.
was weird. I wasn't sure how to feel about it, but I kinda dug it.
Man, it was infuriating. Like,
Yes.
not like in like the writing style sense, but
Yeah.
I was like, "This here."
Jerk-faced.
Yeah, we'll go with that. That's fine. Not my words, your words.
Oh, my
But
words, my words.
yeah, yours
Poopy
are
head,
fine.
poopy
Yeah.
head.
Even better.
But
Okay, so
I read the book You, quite a few years back, and
right.
that book, it was horrifying to read, and that was basically the reason that I decided to do that,
Mhm.
because the whole book is, the main character talking to the woman that he's stalking,
Mhm.
and
Oh my
it creeped
gosh.
me out so much, and I hated everyone in the book. There wasn't a single character that I liked,
Oh
but
my gosh.
I loved it just because it how could you
Right.
not? Like, I will never read it again, never, but
Uh,
it
you
was
hated it that
interest
much, but you loved it that much?
Yeah,
I'm so
it was
confused.
disgustingly creepy, but it was interesting too, and the way it was
Right,
written,
I can yeah.
you had to know what was gonna happen, and
Wow.
that was what I
That
was hoping for.
that's wild. That's wild. For sure. Well, you may have touched on it, but was that the inspiration for writing the book, or was there something else, like, that you had seen, or did you dream it up and write it down, or, like, what happened?
I I've always, been fond of acting. I've
Mhm.
always done it, and, it's just something that I enjoy doing, and I think I was in a play or I had seen something on acting, and I went, "Oh, that will be a fun book," and then I was like, "Oh, huh, that's interesting," 'cause, my mind is not very nice, and my mind went, "Stalker!"
Oh my gosh.
The
If you're an
very
actress,
first
you've gotta have a stalker.
Yes, exactly. But, I mean, like, that was it was something that just really worked for me, and
Mhm,
I've loved the art of acting, and
mhm.
it was something that I loved writing.
Well, that's
So,
good. Yeah.
uh-huh, uh-huh.
Ah, sorry.
What happened?
My pen.
Oh,
Yeah.
your glorious green pen, did it poke you?
Gloria's it did.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's alright. I'll be okay.
Oh,
Big
good.
girl. I tie my own
Yes.
shoes and everything. Okay, so, let's talk about this. I know we've
Okay,
kinda touched on this in the past, but, like, I wanna dig deep into this one.
okay, okay.
What is your writing process or routine like?
I don't really
I
have
don't
one.
have one. I just random
Well, see, that
question.
was the thing. When I first started writing,
Mhm,
my routine was basically research the crap out of every single aspect. So I
mhm.
had the basics down already. So all I was
Right.
doing was editing. It wasn't really writing. I did have to write the ending because, clearly,
Mhm.
when you have a supernatural creature, you can't keep it as a human and have a
Right.
human ending.
Right.
So, I mean,
True.
it was just, there the scene that took place in London, which I
Mhm.
will not talk about because it's a very
Oh, yeah.
pivotal scene in the book,
Right. It is.
takes place in Lon
It's
yes.
it's like the almost climax.
Almo yeah, it's like the first part of the
It's
climax.
the edge.
Yes,
Isn't that the new word?
I think
The
so.
edge. The edge. And then she climaxed.
And then oh, oh, you took that in a very different direction than I was going, right. People call it the apex to avoid mixing up those 2, right?
Sure.
The apex of the book. That's
No,
what they
no,
that's
no, that's not a thing.
Anyways,
Anyway, so right, so the scene in London.
yeah, that was one of the last scenes that I had, written
Mhm,
before I turned it into a supernatural story, and it was really, just a couple chapters later that the end came, and
mhm,
it was just I saw how I wanted it to go, and I was able to, since I already had the groundwork laid, I
mhm.
was able to go back and actually set in the little clues,
Right.
um, afterwards rather than
Mhm,
while I
mhm,
was
mhm.
writing, which I usually write them while I'm writing. But
Right.
this time I did it after, and I really enjoyed it.
Okay, so that brings me to my next question. This is gonna be
Uh-huh.
more of a general writing question
Okay.
rather than specific to mine, seeing as you just
Okay.
touched on the specific way you did mine.
Yeah.
Um, so you're a pantser, we know this.
Generally a pantser, yes.
Right. You don't like you shun the outline and
I
you're
do,
like,
yeah.
"No, just I'm
But
gonna live with my characters and I'm
right,
just gonna follow them around and I'm gonna write
right,
down what they do." No,
right,
totally
exactly.
valid. I
Yeah.
mean, Stephen King is a pantser.
Yes,
So,
exactly.
do you ever like, are you ever writing along and then your characters do something unexpected and then you're like,
Sure.
"Oh my god, that would be so amazing, but, like, I feel like I need to build that up." So then you go back and
Yes.
you rewrite something earlier in the
Yep.
book, like, after the fact? Or do
Mhm.
you just go, "Oh, whatever, just leave it."
I do, yes. They surprise me all the
Both.
time. They very much surprise me all the time.
Okay, so you
And
do go back and, like, rewrite some scenes to
oh, I
make
am
sure,
always
like, this
rewriting.
awesome thing that happens, like,
Yeah.
has the proper build up? Cool,
Uh-huh.
cool.
Exactly. But
Oh,
see, a lot of what I did with this one, because it actually took
mhm,
me a lot longer to write because I was working on several other things at the same time.
mhm, Miss
Um,
Multitasker, uh-huh.
yeah, just a little bit. The ADHD
Couldn't
is
sit on
more
any yeah, you couldn't sit on anything. This past year has been you've been struggling, like,
yeah, I
sitting
really
on
have.
one task or project.
It's been tough. It's been tough. And
Yeah,
for
but
some
you got
reason
them
it's not
all
going
rounded
away.
out. It's n oh, yeah,
Yeah.
you got a new one
I
today. We can talk about
only
that
kind
later.
of, yeah. But I mean, like that one took me a lot longer, but it also wasn't as hard just because most of it was already written. So
Right.
basically, I took out the major swear words because I did
Uh-huh.
a lot of swearing in the original
Right.
version.
Right,
So
and I know you have a reason for that.
yes, there was no. I mean, I decided not to. I do have, like, one book that has actual swear words in it, and I'm working on one now that has actual swear words in it, but it
Right.
suits the story, and
Mhm.
I don't think it's necessary for every story. I think
Yeah, I can do yeah,
yeah,
I totally agree with that,
yeah,
especially, like, you wanna be, like, YA, I mean,
yeah, my YA
dark
books,
things
none
can
of them
happen.
right.
Yeah, like, YA, I feel like it can touch on things that are
Right.
darker.
Yes.
I feel like there are certain things that probably they shouldn't tread into.
Yes,
Heavy
agreed.
cursing is probably one of them, like, super
But they do. A lot
explicit
of writers
kind of
do.
scenes.
But,
Yeah. Like,
uh,
I mean, light cursing
yeah.
probably, like, the D word every now and then, maybe I could
Yeah.
see, like, getting
Yeah.
away with that. I mean, JK Rowling does,
True. Yeah,
I think
exactly.
she's got the D word, I think she's got the A word, but it's not, like, overused. I mean,
Right,
she might have
exactly.
used, like, a handful of times, like,
Right.
a handful of curse words throughout the entire 7-book series.
Right, exactly.
So, I
But
mean,
the
it could be
thing that,
done.
the thing that always, amused me the most was everybody getting, pretty upset about the fact that in the very last book, Mrs. Weasley, calls,
Yes, Bellatrix
Bellatrix
Lestrange
calls
called
her the
her
B
a
word.
B word. I was
Uh-huh.
there for that. I was
Uh-huh.
like and
That it fit and it suited
it
it
did.
was exactly what it needed to be, and I
Right,
was not opposed to it. It didn't bother me at all, even though it's, a children's book.
right.
It was
I
it
I
worked.
was actually offended,
Oh, really?
but that was, like, for a totally different it was because I was in a point in my life where, like, I was a senior in high school, and I
Okay.
was really when I tell you, like, I'm straight edge now, I was, like, over the top straight edge then, like,
Really?
I curse like a sailor now, I was so offended by cursing when I was a senior in high school, and I was
Oh
like,
my goodness.
"Do not come near me with that foul language.
Oh, okay,
I am
okay.
of Jesus." And, like, I still have a little bit of, like, work on me to do because I know that I've gotten into the habit of cursing too much, and I know that, like
It is a
I know
habit. It's
I am
crazy, yeah.
I know I am of the Lord, and I need to clean my filthy mouth up, and I know that, but I'm not offended by other people I'm like, it's just words, like,
Right,
whatever."
exactly. It's what you
But
choose.
back then, I was like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe she this word in this book." But at the
I
same
have
time,
to
I could see how it made Molly Weasley being such a warm, like, it
yes!
the juxtaposition of the character that we know Molly to be
Right.
and the fact that she said that word,
Yeah,
you knew she was
exactly. That
mad.
was
She was
uh-huh.
mad, like, "Don't touch my kid." That's what I told you yesterday.
Yep,
Remember when I texted
exactly.
you, like, some little
Exactly.
kid hit Eden in the face? I was like, "I will smile in my mugshot before you
Uh-huh.
mess with my kids." That was what Molly was feeling. She was bringing
Yeah,
that energy to the table,
exactly,
and that
exactly. It
needed
was
to be
perfect.
shown
It
in
worked.
that way. So, it worked.
It worked, yes.
Yes, and now that I'm adult, I'm like, "Say it again, louder for the people in the back."
Amen, sister.
Yeah, right. That better be
Uh,
sweet tea,
no, it's unsweetened tea. Unsweetened tea for me, please.
girl. Oh, well, I guess I'll let
I'm
that
sweet enough
slide.
as I am, thank you.
Oh, well, I'm the one that makes my tea sweet. Nobody makes sweet tea like me because nobody has the touch. All I gotta do is
I
swim my
I
finger
do
around in it.
except
I'm
my grandpa
kidding.
used to do that. He was
Ugh.
yeah, he would always
That's
stick
actually
his thumb.
really gross.
I know it is. Oh. He was a
That's not
serious
cute.
smoker, so, that you do have to wonder what little particles did get into your tea.
Uh, uh, okay.
Anyways,
So,
back to the book, though.
back to mine. Okay, so I asked you that. I wrote down my questions. So that's
Mm,
I keep looking at my lap. I don't have anything untoward.
well,
Untoward?
that's good, that's good. What about
Words are
Max?
hard.
Isn't
Max isn't here today.
well,
His
he would be fairly see, I have to ask about that. I always thought
what?
it was untoward, and then I heard other people say unto. whatever it is, untoward.
Untoward. Okay, let's
So how do
I
you
can
say it?
un
'Cause you said words are hard, so I figured you
untoward,
mispronounce. How do you
untoward,
say?
un untoward? Let me
I don't
look
even know,
look,
but
we
we
can
should
find
probably
out.
get back. We can figure this out later.
No, I got it right here.
Okay.
Untoward.
Oh,
Untoward.
untoward. Oh, interesting. Thank you,
Like saying
voice man.
toward, like, I'm going towards something, and it's just
True.
untoward. It's the other way. It's improper and unseemly.
Mm.
Like Max's
Well, that
butt.
would be
That's
Max. Yes, that
yeah,
is Max, yes.
snobby tail. Okay.
Aw. Well,
Okay, okay.
the original version of the story, the dog died.
Oh, right.
The dog died,
Right.
and the dog was murdered, big time murdered. That was,
I'm
I
not trying to give away any, but
uh-huh,
I remember
uh-huh.
I don't know if I can ask this question because, like, you're
No,
acting
don't
like
no
it's
spoilers, no spoilers.
girl, you brought this up.
But
Ugh,
seriously, the original version, I had, the dog's head on the coffee table when she came home.
you're a monster.
I was a serious horrible monster, and I was
Imma take this green pen and Imma put a
you're gonna
little
put a big
tear
X?
no, no, Imma put a little teardrop in your eye because 'cause you're so
Oh,
gangster.
oh.
Can't believe you would just be so, like,
It was
"Go back to prison, you wild animal."
it was
Get outta here.
a
Yeah, we
very,
don't do
very
that.
dark at that point, and I was like, I will kill people. That it's totally fine. I have
Right.
0 problem murdering people in books,
Even
but killing
unborn babies,
ah,
4-year-olds,
yeah,
whatever.
yeah, I mean,
Grandma.
hey, 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 but
Whoa.
oh, there
See you
were a
later,
lot of people that died. There were a lot
adios,
of people that died.
abuelita. See you later.
Ah,
Okay,
yes.
so,
I have to
um,
ask you, since you were my very first beta reader, who was your favorite character?
stop asking my questions, you
Okay, we'll both
crazy
answer.
person.
We'll
No.
both answer. Who was your favorite?
Mine was oh, man, there were 5 brothers, and
Yes.
the youngest
The youngest,
of them,
Brad.
he
That's
was my
Brad.
favorite.
He
He
is.
was so precious.
He was precious. He
He
still
was so
is.
sweet and innocent, and he
Yes.
was always, like, there offering assistance, he was
Yes.
so good with those kids, oh my gosh, it
I
was cute.
know.
I
Oh,
loved him.
I
Not,
know.
like, loved him, not, like,
I know.
did.
I
I made
understand.
him oh, by the way, I made him turn beet red at the barber shop earlier. It was funny.
Okay.
He was sitting there, and we were talking about going to Universal Studios next year, and his barber was like, "Yeah, man, you should definitely go." He's like, "But I don't wanna go in the summertime, like, I don't wanna already be hot and then go to Universal." I was like, "I mean, yeah, because you're always hot and you can't help that, so you might as well go when it's cool." And he goes, "Get out of here before I get any redder." I was like, "Okay, I'll see your fine ass at" oh, sorry. At home then, sorry, I s it's what I said, but and his barber about lost it, yeah, just like you did, and he was like,
Oh,
"Get out! Bye." Anyway, I'm so sorry.
I miss
You're gonna
you.
have to beat me out after this, you're gonna have to send me the video so I can go
Nah,
beep and put a little X over my mouth.
nope, I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna let everyone see who you really are. A
I'm
woman who's
sorry.
still attracted to her husband. Huh,
I
okay.
sure am,
Ah,
look,
you sure are.
he's fine, he's fine. Let's
Okay,
get back to
okay.
this.
All right. But
Okay.
for me though, I Joe was my favorite
Yes.
for a while, and then I hated him. But Brad, I'm with you. Brad was always good. The brother, shoot, he went through so many name changes. Tim. Tim
Ugh,
is my favorite because he was the one that everybody
was
underestimated.
he the one that was on drugs?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, yeah, I was
See, I
I
I
think I
I
was
like
right.
that. I like
Right,
that he has this
right, it makes him
problem.
feel feel real
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
because he's struggling with,
He
like,
is. With
this,
what
and
he
he's
can do,
coping
who
with
he
it with
is.
that,
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
you know, if
I
I feel crazy, I
absolutely
might
love
as well
that
be
because
crazy. Yeah.
exactly, exactly. And
So who
he's
was
more understanding than Joe.
Mhm.
He's a good guy who has a bad habit,
Habit.
really. Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Like,
he's once
yeah,
he gets
that's a
straightened out, he really will be the best of
right,
them.
right, and I mean, he's a real he could be
Yeah.
a real
Yeah,
person. There are
exactly.
I mean, tons
Exactly.
of great people do drugs,
Exactly.
and
Precisely.
not saying that
I
that's
know. I
okay,
know. I know.
just,
I understand.
just
Yeah,
like everybody falls on hard times and everybody copes with things differently. And
precisely.
hey, only the good Lord can judge. Okay. So when you get to the pearly
Precisely.
gates, he ain't going to ask you what so and so did. He going to be asking what you did.
What
Okay.
you
So
did.
you got to
Uh-huh.
answer for yourself. And you just can't be worried about the motherfuckers. You just pray for them and just be like, hey, man,
Exactly.
you do you. You got you. You got you. Okay. So who was your favorite character to write?
Probably the bad guy.
Oh my gosh, really?
Yeah, because I
You
mean, it's
sicko.
I know, right? But it was fun to, basically come up with the most disturbing possible things that I could possibly come up with, and, try and make it appear to be a normal person while it being "Excuse me, miss?" My cat is playing with the cord.
You're
She
disturbing
just
her,
she
is what
scared
you're
the crap out of
doing.
me.
Well, you scared the crap out of her,
Well,
cause she's sitting here
oh,
listening to you
oh,
going like, "Skippity pat
Tabitha.
mom, no."
But, the best part was, like, trying to have normal people,
Mhm.
give only tiny hints of who they really are, and it was so much fun to do that, and I honestly don't know if I showed who the bad guy was actually portraying each time. I don't know if it came across. So
At the end, when you find out who it
mhm.
was, it makes you go,
Uh-huh.
"Mhm, the whole
Exactly.
time, whole damn
Uh-huh.
time, whole
Uh-huh.
dang time."
Uh-huh.
Okay. So, do you model any of your character? And I really hope that you don't say the villain in this case because I would worry for you. So just put that in your mind, and if it does, just don't let it come out of your mouth because I'm
Yeah.
calling someone. Do you model any characters out of people that you actually know in real life? Oh my gosh, if you say that, like the villain is after that
No,
guy that we
no, don't
talked
worry,
about,
don't worry.
I would I would
I
die.
I was having, a pretty rough time in my marriage, at the time when I was, writing this, and I was kind of ticked off that, my husband was he was never he never cared about any of the plays that I was in or,
Mhm.
his
Oh,
family,
20
they
years ago,
yeah. Well,
when you
yeah, yeah,
originally wrote it.
yeah.
Okay.
But
I got you, I was like,
he never
when
cared
are
about
you in
that
a
stuff, and
play?" I got
he
you.
was never really up for going or
Right.
or seeing anything, and his family
Mhm.
wasn't either. And I wrote that in,
Ah,
um,
as
because it was a
Diego.
personal hurt that
Mhm.
still kinda it still hurts, but
Right.
it was something that I put in, and it helped
Right.
me to I saw it through Tori's eyes, and,
Right.
it was
Right.
interesting to see. And, like,
Right, they call that
uh
internal conflict, I believe.
yes, yes, exactly.
She's got this very real, raw emotion regarding this,
Yes,
and you have
exactly,
experience with that, so you were able to write it very
precisely.
yeah,
And
precisely.
but she's an actress, so she's
Right.
acting like, this she's totally fine, whatever.
Mhm. So
But
she's always acting, she never gets to stop.
exactly.
Mhm.
There almost isn't a time other than with Joe. She's fairly real with Joe. Mostly real.
Yeah,
But throughout the book, she's almost always acting the entire time
right, and she
because
picks a
she is
character to
a
be, and
mess.
right.
She is a mess, but I mean, it's justified
Right,
after
she
everything
has
she
to
went
fall
through.
back on a template just to,
Yes,
like,
exactly. Yes.
feel real and stable just so she
Exactly.
can carry on. So she's like, "Okay, this character would act like this, so this is
Right.
how I need to act in this case. So
Exactly.
now I'm just gonna become this character and follow the pattern and just do what they would do,
Exactly.
and I can just sit in the back seat and just
Let
carry on
the
with my
story play
mess."
out. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
right. Exactly. Because when you're like that, you start to anticipate everybody else's reactions to how
Right.
you're gonna react. And then but that sounds exhausting in and of itself, to be honest.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Uh-huh.
okay.
Yeah.
So any other characters that you model after IRL people? So we got
Not
Diego as
really.
Joel.
I tend not to do that.
So
A
you don't
lot
know people that you like? Okay. All right.
not people I like generally. I do more bad things. I use
Mm,
it
yes,
mostly as
you do.
therapy. So bad things that have happened in my past or whatever,
I
or
got you.
people, saying jerky things.
Mhm.
I turn it into therapy and I figure it out, and
Right.
the
Right,
character
right
works it out
through
along
it.
with me.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Therapeutic. That's all that's what matters.
Precisely. But at some point I will. At some point I will have good characters, people I know,
Mhm.
with them being in my story. But
Right.
I do such dark stories. I don't like the idea of putting people I know and love through things like that. If it was you, I wouldn't have been able to write the story. If you were Tori, if you were Tori Anna Markering,
Look,
I would
I
have she would have basically had this
I
happy
woulda killed
joyo
it.
life.
I woulda killed it, okay? I woulda come out the other side, and
Yeah,
that's that,
that's that.
because I don't let nothing beat me up, and you already know that.
Precisely, precisely.
That's
But,
true.
I mean, at some point, I do plan to do that, but the
Mhm.
thing is,
What? Put me through
I do
hell?
plan to have people that I know in my stories.
Oh, okay.
I but I
Yes.
only occasionally do things like that, but I don't react to things in a way that anyone else would. I just it's not how I
Right.
work,
You really don't.
and I don't.
You really don't.
So nobody would get that. So
I'm always
I
surprised by that.
never I
Pleasantly
know.
surprised. It's like makes
Yeah.
everything she handles me so well.
It's just like I don't write myself because I am a weirdo. And I'm aware of this and nobody really understands. So
We
it
love
wouldn't
this
make
about you.
sense. It wouldn't make sense if I wrote a character that way.
Right, right.
So,
Well, you
yeah.
you think, but you never know.
You never know. It's true. It's true.
It might be
Mm.
great,
Hey.
might be fantastic. Okay,
Hmm.
so,
People might
um,
understand me more is what you're thinking? Oh, that's scary.
no, no, that would never happen. No. I don't know if that could
That
be
couldn't happen ever.
no, you're a little too far out there
I'm
for
unexplainable.
that.
Mm.
But you'd make a great sci-fi book. Okay,
See, I
so
have thought about writing sci-fi.
really?
I have thought about it, but I would do
Mhm.
steampunk before I would do sci-fi, I think.
Ooh, I like that. I love steampunk.
Uh-huh,
I'm a sucker for
uh-huh,
it. I can't help
uh-huh.
it.
Same.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
So, what kind of research did you have to do for mine?
Oh my gosh. Okay,
Ah,
fighting. Fighting was my favorite.
okay.
Kickboxing, so much research on kickboxing.
Right.
Um, acting, everything to do with New York City, the theater scene, um,
Mhm.
the locations. I have every location. I basically used Realtor.com. So
Mm.
it I oh shoot, what's the name of the town? Shoot, I forgot the name of the town. I'm an idiot.
No, you're not. You just have a lot of
Have a
books.
lot of
What
books. I
is the
do.
name of the town?
uh, well, it's on
I
the
don't even
outskirts of
know.
New York City, and you take the train in
Mhm.
to New York City. So it's an hour and a half in the train. Uh, there and back, and it's just
Ooh.
it was really fun to do that research and to think about the different things I'll have to do. But the most fun research was figuring out when you get shot in certain places, what happens to you. I had a friend actually. She wasn't a
Mhm.
combat medic, but she knows lots of stuff from her time in the Air Force, and so
Right.
she's telling me like, if it wouldn't be the bullet wound would not have been a graze like I was thinking. It would have to go through because the brachial artery, which needed to be nicked in chapter one. I'm sorry, it's not chapter one anymore. It's now chapter three.
Yeah.
Brachial artery uh, gets nicked, and that the way that I wrote it, I didn't say that it was a graze, but it was at first, and so it's all these different research things that I needed to
Right.
do. But PTSD was another huge one that I did.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
much research on PTSD. Like, I still don't think I touched it even half as good as I should have. But
Mm.
d- to a woman loses both of her children in one go,
Mhm.
and the guy
Yeah.
who murdered her children, her husband leaves her after
Right.
this.
Mhm.
I don't think I would have made it. I'm not a
Yeah.
mom. I don't know those emotions, but I
Mm-mm.
thinking about it and the research that I've done, most people wouldn't. Most
I can't
people,
imagine.
yeah.
Like, I would lose it,
Yeah, yeah,
honest to
same.
goodness.
Yeah.
And I know, like, Jed wouldn't do that to me, like, he wouldn't leave,
Oh, yeah.
but just the thought of losing my kids
Yeah.
is
Oh,
absolutely terrifying to me. Like, I mean, remember last year when Austin just got lost from school?
yes.
I nearly broke. Like, when he got off the bus, I was in tears. I was like, "I You scared me. Like, you cannot do that
Right.
again."
Right.
And, I mean, of course, it wasn't his fault. He was
Yeah,
like,
yeah, exactly.
"It wasn't your fault," but, like, we just stood in the parking lot of the where the bus dropped him off, and we
Yeah.
just cried because I was
Oh,
so terrified at the
yeah.
thought that I came this close to losing him,
Right. Exactly.
and I just
Oh,
just the thought of it, like,
yeah. That it
oh my gosh,
that's horrifying.
it is. It is.
Yeah.
So,
So,
there's that. I have
something help
one
me.
more question.
Okay, gotta hurry,
Yes.
gotta hurry.
What makes a great story in your opinion?
Conflict. I like
Yes.
that's my favorite thing. I don't like romance basically because there's no conflict.
Mm.
There's no
That there could be.
there could.
There
That's
could
true.
be.
But I mean like
I I am trying to figure out how to weave into my story a great romance, very PG
uh-huh.
rated.
Yes, yes, yes,
PG,
yes.
maybe PG-13.
Okay.
Um, like love story,
Right.
romance, almost
Right.
like a slow burn kind of thing.
Yes. Yes, I remember.
Right, but so I've been, like, doing, like, a lot of research on my end
Mhm.
trying to work that in there, but that's one of the things is you can't just write romance
Right.
because
It
I
has to be
mean,
something else.
the romance has to be just, like, not even the
Part
icing,
of the
the
story. Yeah, exactly.
sprinkles. No,
Sprinkles,
it
sprinkles
can't
on
be
the
the
top.
plot points, like, the
Right.
romance can't
Exactly.
be part of the plot. Maybe, like, it's like a subplot,
Right.
but it you can't have a good romance without first having the good story. So
Yes.
it's when the
Yes.
each character, the girl and the boy, both have their own internal conflicts that are
Precisely.
constantly, like, doing this pull back and forth,
Right.
and, like, the conflicts are fighting each other, and they come up with these misunderstandings and this and that, and that's what and
Exactly.
then as the story progresses and each one of them grows and deals with their own personal conflict,
And
only
then,
then can their
uh-huh.
relationship flourish.
Exactly.
So, I mean, I know you don't like I'm not saying, like, you should definitely write romance. I'm just saying, don't think you can't because
Yes,
I
I
think
understand.
you could absolutely add it to anything that you've
I
already
usually do.
written
I
because
usually do. There are very few books that I don't have at least some small romantic element, but I don't like it to be
yeah,
the
but
plot.
you never write them as,
Correct.
like, the
Yeah.
big, like,
Mm-mm.
"Oh my gosh, these 2
Uh-uh.
characters." I just like you don't have people like, you don't make the goal, like, to make your readers swoon over these 2
Correct,
characters.
correct,
They're
correct.
just doing the thing.
They're flawed characters, and,
Oh,
sometimes the
yeah.
romance works, sometimes you almost wanna kill Joe. Well, I did wanna kill Joe a couple of times, actually. I still kinda do.
Yeah,
Just a
what
little
would
bit.
have that done to Tori?
That would be bad. That would be really
Mm,
bad for her.
yeah, most definitely. Most definitely.
Yes. Okay,
I think that would have been the straw that broke the camel's
I
back.
think you're right. I think that would be more than a straw. That would be the cinder block that broke the camel's back.
Yeah, she'd be done after that. She'd be
Most
like, "What? No.
definitely.
No reason for me to live any." Well,
Yeah,
no,
there was.
because
There
there
da
was
bop, bop,
I
bop.
won't say it. I
But
won't say it, but I
okay,
knew we were having a
we
conversation.
were having a conversation, but
We knew.
we're gonna end. It's gonna yell at us, and well, it already
Yes.
yelled at me, so it's gonna end, and we don't want to cut it off in the middle of a sentence.
No, absolutely not. Okay,
No.
so that was all the
I will
questions I
put the
had
link for the book.
anyway.
Huh? I will put the
I s
link for the
oh,
book in the description, and I really hope people read it because I kinda think it's a pretty good book.
I think it might be your best work yet. Of course, I haven't read, like, all of your things,
True.
but I think, like, I loved this one.
Thank you. Thank you very
And I
much, and
was
thank you for
like
beta
I
reading.
had, like yeah, girl, and I had, like, there were times that I was like, my blood ran cold, and I went,
Uh-huh.
"Oh my gosh, I
The
can't
t
believe this."
the time that
And
your heart fell out of your butt because of one particular,
yeah.
scene.
Did you have to say that on
Yes, yes, I did.
okay, yes, my heart fell out of my butt, and I had to
Because because
yeah,
of me. It was my fault.
mhm.
Sorry, Jed.
Yes,
Sorry,
thank
Jed.
you.
Yeah.
He was fine helping me put it back. Alright. Yeah, he was like, "Yes, I get to look at her butt."
Okay, bye. I'll talk
Bye,
to you
love
later.
you.
It's been lovely. On that lovely note.
Yeah,
Okay,
bye.
it was lovely chatting with you. Thank you for the interview. You are wonderful.
I try.
Okay. All right, see
Mhm.
you later, dude.
Bye.
Bye.